right, y'all. What is up? We are back. We're actually on our way to the gym to do our first leg day in 2 weeks. So, first leg day in 2 weeks, coming out of our Junior Nationals prep. To give you guys an update how the weekend went, competed on Friday. Today is Thursday now. But man, what an awesome experience. So I was able to fly down to Chattanooga, Tennessee Tuesday, the week of the show. So that was like 3 days before the show. Just kind of chill and get ready for show day, of course. But we did our weigh-ins at tanning the Thursday, the day before the show. Of course, Friday morning being competition day. But overall, just what a fantastic experience. As far as how the show went, I ended up taking second place in my class. I competed in Classic Physique Class B. Yeah, I mean, as far as my expectations like going into the show, of course you always want to win. You always want to strive to be your very best. Full transparency, I was heading into this nationals show, and with it being my first time ever competing on a national stage, I didn't really know what to expect. I'm very much into bodybuilding, so watching bodybuilding podcasts, following the sports, just understanding everything. And one common thing I always heard in all these podcasts I watch and people I've met through bodybuilding is like, hey man, when you're at the national level, there are some dogs out there. And that just could not have been more accurate. There was some absolute freak shows that I got to see at Junior Nationals. From the very start, going in, doing weigh-ins, doing that first coat of 10, just kind of looking around, taking everything in. You're like, wow, there's some serious bodybuilders here. And I'd be lying if I said like, man, like, do I really belong here? Because I'm not the biggest dude by any means, and that was very evident on stage. I do want to give a massive shout out to my boy Matt back in Ohio, because I was talking with him and he kind of was able to help calm me down and just bring me back down to earth. He's like, hey man, there's always going to be bigger dudes out there than you. Like that's just bodybuilding. It's always going to be that way. But he understands, like, you come in conditions and it's going to do a lot for you. So, again, just can't thank him enough for kind of calming me down and, like, just understanding, like, hey, you're not going to be the biggest guy, but that's okay, because size is the only criteria that they. Yeah, as far as the weekend went, JC ended up winning the Class B, Classic Physique, and actually getting his pro card. So massive congratulations to him. He's actually a great dude too. Like, I was able to catch up with him backstage during prejudging, right after prejudging, and then even during finals and after finals. But dude's just a class act, and he really does carry himself in the way that a champion should. So, dude looked incredible on stage too. I mean, he was very, very conditioned, had a fantastic back. I mean, his Arnold, like, 3/4 turn back of the bicep is just gnarly. Again, just massive congratulations to him. Very, very well earned, well deserved, and excited to see what he can do in the pro league, because from what I understand, it sounds like he's already at like the weight cap. Maybe even a little bit more than the weight cap. So him growing into his class in the pro league, I'm excited to see what he can do. He's again, fantastic dude, great competitor, and I think he's got a really bright future in the league. Yeah, as far as the look that myself and Justin brought, I don't think we could have done any better with what we had. We were absolutely conditioned. I think Justin nailed our peak. Like, we couldn't have looked any better than we did. Tan was good. As far as posing, there's some things for my posing I would like to improve on and tweak. Like, absolutely. Just kind of going back and looking at it analytically and critically. There were some mistakes that I made, but again, Justin and I brought the very best package that we could to the stage. And the reality is, I just need to put on more size. We just need to get bigger, and that's the fun part about this sport. That's what bodybuilding is all about. And I've been dieting and, like, on prep really for like the last year, maybe a little bit over a year. And with that being said, I'm not saying that we were like starving ourselves the entire time, but by no means. We had plenty of refeeds in there, plenty of even diet breaks, actually, a couple of different times. And that was more so for prepping for Detroit. Kind of looking forward to actually going into a proper growth phase again. Well, first we're going to go into a health phase. Just kind of get our body ready, primed, freshened up, and ready to go again. But excited to jump into a growth phase, put on some muscle, get up to this weight cap because, truth be told, I'm still like, all of peak week, I was like 192, 193 pounds. Uh, I'm like 5'9" and some change. So my weight cap's actually 202 pounds. So we got plenty of room to grow. Yeah, I'm just really, really looking forward to this season of growth. Again, just reflecting on how the weekend went. I mean, yeah, I have nothing to be upset about. To come in there for our first run at nationals, come in second place in a very good class. I mean, there was plenty of fantastic competitors there. Connor, the guy who ended up taking third place, he looked incredible. Had phenomenal quads. Dude didn't have a waist, wide shoulders, big arms. So it's one of my favorite conversations I had the entire weekend. Was actually the day after the show. I went to this gym. It's called Iron HQ. I was in there very next morning training. I was training fasted, so I pounded like a liter and a half of water. I had I had one banana, so not entirely fasted. But I want to get in there. Just kind of puts that post-show dinner to good work because I did go out to the Cheesecake Factory with my parents and actually my college roommate. Shout out to my boy Cody for making the trip up from Georgia to come and watch the show and just hang out for the weekend. Yes, I was in there. It's kind of getting a full body pump or full upper body pump. Nothing crazy, but want to put some of those extra carbs to good use. When I was training in there, I saw two guys come to the door, and I recognized them. Like, oh, I competed against this guy, and I had seen them in there a couple of days prior. They were training as well, so I went to the door, let them in. We were talking. I just loved the conversation we had. They're both bodybuilders, both competitors, and they're both awesome. It was Austin Areola and his coach Austin. We were sitting there talking about like what our game plan is, like what we're gonna do next. If we're doing another show, if we're gonna go into a growth phase, and ultimately, we both decided like, yeah, we're gonna take this season off, grow, get get closer to our weight caps, and essentially just bodybuild. And I just loved it the way we were talking about it. And I'm not taking any credit for this because these are not my words. These were Coach Austin's words. But Coach Austin had said, that's what's so great about this sport because if we were to have won, turned pro that day, take second place, or take dead last, it doesn't matter. It all ends in the same way. And it ends with us coming to the gym the very next day, doing our fasted cardio, getting our training in, staying on our meal plans, eating our food, and just bodybuilding. And I thought that was so cool because it's something that really connects everybody who's like in this industry and competes in this sport. And it's a simple phrase, just bodybuild, but it just meant so much to me. Not just from a physique building standpoint or anything like that. Just what the entire sport encompasses. It's just that discipline, that living each day the same way, having that structure. And man, I don't know. That's gonna be one of those conversations that'll stick with me for the rest of my life. And I really appreciated those guys like Austin and Austin. If you guys ever do see this, I love that conversation, man. And I do really hope I can make it out to the West Coast in the training session with you guys. But anyways, that's enough of this yap session. I've been going on for pretty long now. We got our pre-workout locked and loaded, ready to go. This is a non-stim. I drank like a energy drink maybe an hour and a half ago or so. But we're gonna put this down, and yeah, we'll see you guys in there and train some legs. Cheers. So for the first couple of clips, I'm gonna have to do a voiceover because in this gym it was actually pretty loud. They're playing some music and it was kind of blasting, which was awesome. But my mic was having a hard time drowning out the background noise. So to start off here, we are starting with a lying hamstring curl. Typically, I do like to start off with the adductor machine to get my hips warmed up. Actually helps up with my knees and then helps just making getting in the whole squat pattern a whole lot easier. But both of those were taken. So we decided to pivot to hamstrings first before moving into the adductors after. But here is our first working set. I believe we have 180 pounds loaded up here. So for me, this is actually pretty heavy. As you can see, I'm definitely struggling on these reps. But yeah, this is our first working sets here. And I'll let the rest of this clip play before we jump into our second. And for the second set, we will do a back down, so a little bit less weight. So for our back down here, I believe we have 160 pounds loaded up. Reason being, we're actually going to try to get a few more reps than our last set, because with our output and effort level that last set, if we were to repeat the same weight, for sure, we're just not going to get as many reps as that first set. So to make sure we're still getting enough stimulus here and really working our hamstrings, drop the weight a little bit, and again, just taking that sets to failure. But really good set here. By this point, hamstrings are definitely feeling it. And to give a rundown of how I like to train, like how I approach it, I do 2 working sets for just about every exercise, and however many I need to warm up. Usually it's only like 2 to 3 sets to warm up, but yeah. So now we're moving into our first working set of adductors. I do love this Prime adductor machine. It's actually probably my favorite. I really like this one, and that black and gold one that's right next to it is the new tech one. Both of these are fantastic. If I remember correctly, I want to say I have 150, maybe 170 pounds loaded up here. Definitely pretty heavy. As you can see, I was struggling to get into position for our first rep, but the goal here is to really milk that eccentric, going down slow and getting a good stretch in our adductors, and then exploding on the concentric portion of the movement and trying to make my knees touch. As you can see here, we are working. These are not easy. From the very first rep, it was a struggle to get up, and typically I like to get higher reps on adductor movements. So usually in the past, I'll shoot for 15 to 20 reps. As you can see here, I am nowhere close to that. This is around 10 reps, 10 at the 10 to 12 rep range, and it was to failure. We couldn't get any more, but that is okay, because again, the intensity was there. We're putting the stress on the muscle we're looking for, and we'll jump into our second set here. So with this set, very similar to our back down set of hamstrings, we are doing a back down set here. I want to say we have 130 pounds loaded up, with the goal being to get closer to that 15 rep range. However, as you can see, the execution and rep tempo stay the exact same as it did in my first set. So we're still very much controlling that eccentric portion of the lift and really focusing on contracting and exploding on the way up. But the effort remains the same as well. These are not easy. Even though I am doing less weight, this is still not easy at all. We are struggling, and every single rep, definitely feels like the adductor is about to rip off, but that's good. It means we're getting a good stretch, getting a good contraction, and again, just priming our legs to get into our first compound movement, which is actually coming up next. And I won't lie, you'll hear me talk about it in the next clip, but I was a bit nervous for these next sets.
All right, yo, it's about to get real. We got our first set, the first working set, Arsenal pendant squat coming back at you. We're gonna try 4 plates in a 10. We'll see how this goes. 4 plates not pretty heavy, but we'll get back up to 5. Don't you worry. Blind you, but I was a little bit nervous for this set. But that's good. Nothing happens good after it. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I feel like that scene in Rocky where I'm talking with Adrian, and he finally goes, "I'm afraid, okay? I admit I'm afraid." It's me right now. Should we be doing 5 reps right now for that first show? Probably not, but we ball anyway. Yeah, we will not be showing the coach that rest. So we will certainly not want to see me doing a set of 5 reps in a pendulum squat 6 days after competing. So, Justin, if you see this one, I'm sorry, but I can't help myself. But we'll be more intelligent on this side. We'll do it back down. Try to get 10 to 12. So, all right. Set number 2 coming at you. We're gonna be a little bit more intelligent on this one. Back down quite a bit. Got 3 plates from 25, but take it for a ride. Come on. Oh my god. We definitely milks the eccentric on those. So if I was like, you know, super explosive out of the hole, maybe going down a little bit faster, that's a good got 10. But I'm happy to 7. That felt good. Quads are cooked. Let's do some leg press. All right. On our first working set here, leg press. With that awareness. Got 6 plates. Let's see what we get. Let's see, I don't even know. 15 would be cool. But this is probably like my second favorite leg press. I'm a huge fan of the Cybex hip press. I got to use that all the time when I was still training at the Powerhouse in Canton, Ohio. But unfortunately, I haven't found any gyms up here in Michigan that have it. Actually, it's a lie. Extreme Fitness does. Off of 21, I think. That's it. Oh, take that. 13's not too bad. If my boy Kurt was here, like I thought he was going to be, could have got 15, but that's all right. Got our back down set here, 5 plates. So let's finish up the leg press. Just gonna wrap up leg press. Honestly, super happy that's set. You got a really, really good set of 15 there. I think maybe 16. I don't know. But we're gonna finish up with some leg extensions on the prime and some standing single hamstring curls, superset calves. We're gonna get maybe not super. We're gonna get big calves this off season. So let's go. Oh, oh, and don't be one of those guys that don't rack their weights. Always re-rack your weights. All right. A couple warm-ups here. We're gonna do our first set leg extensions in the prime. The way you got it set up, it's actually hardest at the bottom, so hardest at the stretch. It gets a little bit easier as you go through the movement. But I think we got 210, 220. You got 220 on. Let's take it for a ride. See what we can get. Oh, you can't. Shh. Oh. 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 Ah. 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 Okay. Ah. Oh. Ah. 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 All right, y'all. We just finished up with that leg day, and honestly, it was a fantastic session for being the first leg day back. We trained for about like just under 2 hours, I think like an hour 50 minutes, which is pretty typical for a leg day. They usually run me about hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, I mean quads, quads were absolutely destroyed. Got a really good hamstring pump at the end. I actually didn't record one of my last sets, or excuse me, last exercises, but I did do a standing single leg hamstring curl as my very last exercise. And this time we did actually superset it with some calf raises. I just didn't record that because there was like somebody pretty close to me, and I didn't want to be rude to be that guy and kind of get in their way. So like I just figured, we'll call it here. Yeah, fantastic workout. The only the only thing that was a little bit questionable was the Arsenal pendulum squat. I probably shouldn't have went as heavy as I did. I honestly I really don't like training anything below like 6, 7 reps. Ideally eight. Eight's like the lowest I'll go. If I'm trying for 8 and I can only get six. I promise I'm not trying to meme here. But if I can only get 6 or 7 reps, so be it. That's gonna happen. But 5 reps, like 6 days post show, post depletion. It wasn't my brightest idea there. But I'm that's the video I took today. That's raw. That's raw training. Like that's what I do. Again, is it the smartest? Would I recommend that? No, don't do that. I don't know, man. Training's just I just love to train. Like I've been doing this since I've been 12 years old. It's been the one constant in my life. Things have changed. I don't play sports anymore. Not in school anymore. People come and go, but but training. It's been the one thing that's been there my entire life and will be there my entire life. Even when bodybuilding's long, long gone and far away, I'm still gonna train. I was training well before I started like making any content or making any videos, anything like that. I started in my basement again when I was 12 years old. The reason I got into weight training was because my dad. He growing up, I'd always see him working out in our basement, and
I'm just listening to his 80s rock, his Metallica, his Motley Crue, his Kiss, all the 80s hair bands. And I'm like, man, I want to be like him. Of course, I told him, he could tell I wanted to, just by how I watched him all the time and was always around. Like, hey man, you're too young right now. It's like we'll get you started for real when you turn 12. For whatever reason, like middle school was like, hey, we'll start training for real. I'll show you how to do it. Well, that being said, I was doing push-ups in my room, sit-ups, like before I'd go to bed because I didn't want people to see me. I was embarrassed. Then also, I'd be like 8 years old, and like we actually had a pretty gnarly hammer strength lat pull down. Honestly, I have no idea how my dad even like swung that, where he got it from. He probably got it from like a marketplace or some sort of deal on it, because like this was definitely something that was in like commercial gyms at the time. But I remember vividly, he told me, do not use this machine because you can get seriously hurt. And he was right, like there's like the little hold on bar, and it was pin loaded, and like this one was pretty cool because like all the weights that you stacked on, it was all metal. It was all metal. I don't even know what you call them, just metal, I guess rectangles. That's what they looked like. But anyway, he's like, you could get your finger caught in there, smash it, lose a finger, break a finger. So yeah, okay, Dad, I listen. No, he wasn't around. I'd be trying to do lat pull-ons on it, and I could. I'd just do really low weight, but then I'd put on too much weight. So I'm a little kid, and it weighs more than me, and doesn't move, and I just end up hanging from it. But yeah, I don't know how I got into that tangent. I just love training, man. So because I was trained like an idiot. Should never do 5 reps. There's really not a place for that in bodybuilding, but hey, it was a great workout. Super happy with how it went, and yeah, excited to get home. Had the post workout meal, kind of unwind for the night, and get ready for bed. Yeah, again, just what a fantastic weekend. I'm so fortunate, and like I'm just happy I was present the entire time. It wasn't like one of those things where I zoned out. It was all blur, and I don't remember anything. Like I was very cognizant of like, hey, it's gonna be a great weekend. You're gonna have a lot of opportunities to meet new people, meet coaches, get out there. Take advantage of it. That's something I can say that I did. I made it a point of mine. Like when I was backstage, getting tanned up, pumping up, or even just standing in line backstage, lining up for prejudging. I'm like, hey, I wanna talk to these athletes. Because ultimately, these are gonna be the guys that I'm competing with. However long we all compete, because again, we all love this sport. Unless something happens, I imagine we're all still gonna be here. So these are gonna be the guys that I'm seeing at these shows when people are turning pro. I want to be there to celebrate them. So I was very fortunate, just grateful to be able to take that all in, meet these athletes, and of course spend time with my family. I mean, my God, my parents flew down from Detroit. They flew down on Thursday. I was down on that Tuesday, so they flew in a couple days after. My college roommate Cody, he drove all the way up from Georgia, so he drove Thursday night and made it there for prejudging. He met my family there in the morning at the venue, and man, it was great being able to spend the weekend with them too, man. I can't tell you how fun it was just hanging out in the Airbnb after prejudging, all the excitement, like what do you think, like how you feeling? And again, it's coming there for our first national show, place second place, making the first call out was something that I really wanted to do, and I just more than anything, I wanted to prove to myself that like, hey, you do belong. I think we're able to do just that. So I'm gonna be happy with how it went. After the show, my family and roommate Cody went to the Cheesecake Factory, had a fantastic meal. I didn't hold back. I had plenty of appetizers, a double bacon burger, Oreo cheesecake. That was a lot of fun. We went back to the Airbnb, hung out for a little bit. The next day, we went hiking through Lookout Mountain, which was absolutely beautiful. On that Saturday, there was a UFC card, UFC fight night. It ended up being a fantastic card. But anyway, again, that's enough of my yap session. Great lift, great weekend. Excited to jump into this off season and grow. If there's any sort of videos that you guys do want to see, whether that be like full days of eating, training videos, if you guys want like voiceover videos, cooking videos, I love to cook. So if you guys want to see how I prepare my meals, or in the day in the life, again, I work a full-time job. I'm in the corporate life. I'm a corporate bodybuilder. If you guys want to see a full day in the life too, let me know what you're trying to see. Otherwise, catch you guys in the next one. And, keep chasing.